Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Happy Life with Maria podcast. Today's episode is inspired by actually a conversation I was having at a dinner event with a friend of mine who asked me this question, so I thought I would do a little episode on it. So the question was, how do we stay centered and non-reactive when we are faced with triggered situations, meaning like somebody cut you off in line, somebody is nasty to you as a customer? How do we not react and blow up and stay calm and centered? So, a very interesting question, and I thought I would answer it here also in case somebody might find it useful. So, how many of us have been in those situations where, your day's going great, but then somebody either cuts you in line or is nasty to you at the grocery store, or if you have a customer comes in and just being rude to you? How do we stay centered? How do we not react, right? So the number one key to this is actually inspired by the book The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. If you haven't heard about this book, this is the number one must-have book for everybody in the personal development space. Four agreements. And one of the agreements, I guess, laws of life that he teaches is that nothing others do is because of you. 99% of the time, it's because they're going through their own situations, their own issues, and all that stuff. So when we are faced with situations where people are triggering us and they are being rude, number one tip to keep in mind is 99% of the time has nothing to do with who you are. That customer is literally having a bad day and is taking it out on you. That person that cut you off in line probably just had the most stressful week and is taking it out on you. That person on the subway that's being nasty to you is just having maybe a lot of physical pain or a lot of issues in their life, and they're taking it out on you. So number one, always remember, somebody's just lashing out at you without you earning that. It has nothing to do with you. They're going through something themselves. So just kind of keep that on the back of the mind. And that usually helps a lot not to react, because it has nothing to do with you. So you just kind of observe them behave in a way that is fitting for them and their stressful life, but it doesn't mean it has anything to do with you. So you kind of stand there as an observer and you kind of watch them behave in the way that they behave, and you understand that this is how they're feeling at the moment about their life. Nothing to do with you. It's how they feel about their life. So you kind of step back a little and kind of create a little space between you guys and understand that most of the time it doesn't have anything to do with who you are. And that kind of helps just kind of relax a little bit and not be all wound up, because it's them reacting to their life situation. And number two is a very powerful technique I learned from another famous person, I forget the name, and that is to step back and look at the situation in a bigger picture. Kind of zoom out, look at the situation in a bigger picture. Meaning, if you look at your whole year, right, would this tiny little situation be so impactful and important? If you look at how much you have had to deal with the whole year, how many situations you've had in the whole year, right? If you kind of look at it as a bigger picture, it's a tiny, tiny moment that really doesn't impact much. So you kind of look at it as a bigger picture, that this is a small, small moment that's happening right now, which you can choose not to react to, right? Step 3 is you can make a choice. Step 3 is you have the choice to react or not to react. No, it's in your power. Today I choose not to react. Okay, that's just a choice I'm making. I choose to stay in my peace, stay in my center, because I know their reaction has nothing to do with me. I know in the bigger picture of things, this small incident will be forgotten in 2.5 hours, right? I know that this moment is temporary and I can just move on to the next one, right? You just kind of look at it as bigger picture. You can make a choice not to react. And practically, right? So after all that, practically what we can do in that moment is never, ever, ever stoop lower to their level and start screaming back and yelling back, right? That's not a good thing to do, because then you're going to be just as irritated as them, just as nasty as them, and it's just going to elevate that negative emotion and amplify it, and it's just going to get 10 times worse. So the number one practical way to handle it, you stay calm. You stay calm. You do not change your energy. You stay centered. You stay calm. And sometimes your calmness might actually rub off on the other people and might bring them up to your level. So number one practical is you stay calm. You never go down to their level of nastiness, right? You stay calm and you calmly say, whatever the situation is everything good? What can I help you with? I'm busy. I have other customers waiting. Is there something I can help you with? You answer back nicely, respectfully, but you're in a rush. You don't have time for this nonsense, right? And then if they continue with the negativity, you just say, I'm sorry, I am very busy today. Come back another day, right? Kind of move along. Don't give them too much of your attention. And if it's somebody that's cutting off in line at the grocery store or in the subway, just let them pass. Let them pass. Let them go forward. Let them pass. One person becoming ahead of you in line is not going to change your whole life. It's a small moment. Just let them pass and do their thing because they're having a stressful day. Let them be. You stay centered. It will not affect you in any way. So just let them be, right? Don't react. Don't cause a fuss. Let them handle their life situation however they want to handle. As long as they're not harming you, you're not harming them. Let them be. Let them cross you if they need to. Let them go ahead of you. It doesn't matter. You're standing firm in who you are. You're not bothered. It doesn't matter because their behavior literally, truly doesn't matter to your life. They're nobody. They're just a stranger. So once we kind of look at it as a bigger picture and understand that, we have a choice that we can make whether we react or not. We can choose to stay calm. We can choose not to participate in negativity. If it's nothing to do with our personal life, we don't have to participate in it. We don't. We can make that choice. So hopefully these tips were helpful to some of you, and definitely reach out if there's any questions. Always remember to leave us a review if you can. That always helps us. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, whichever platform you're on, if you can, it would be highly appreciated so that more listeners can get this information. And email me at happywithmaria@gmail.com. Any suggestions, what topics you would like help with, you might want to hear more on, maybe a book review you would like, whatever you would like, or manifestation tips. I know I touched on that a little bit at some point. So email me or follow me on Instagram, happylife_with_Maria, and stay positive. Talk soon.